Well, hello, everybody. Happy Monday. I had to think for a minute. I was like, what is today? It is only Monday. It is only Monday. It was a really long week last week. I know you said the same thing, Debbie. So I'm here with Debbie. Debbie's going to be sharing with us for this lovely at-home craft and event for today. Of course, sharing her adorable snap ring that she created, which is so cute. But everything Debbie does is really, really cute. So I hope that it inspires you guys. Debbie's just pulling up the comments to make sure to say hi so that she can see you guys in the comments. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you can definitely shoot them in and she'll try to catch them. If not, we'll get them on the replay. Even if you're catching the replay, just let us know that you're watching us in the replay. So yes, so let's go ahead. You're getting that. You seeing that, Deb? You're pulling it up?
Not yet. We were frozen for a minute, but I am. Hang on. Can you guys hear me?
Let her know that you can hear her. I'm going to quickly just share over on our website. We have a landing page, basically. It's called kiwilane.com/snap-frames that you can see up here in this URL that actually shares a little bit about snap frames, the different products and steps and such. But I know that Debbie has a lot of fun things as far as her creative process when she was creating this specific snap frame that she's going to be sharing with you guys. So I think we're good. We're good? Okay, I'm going to turn it over to you.
I think so.
Okay.
Thanks, Susan. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining me today as I share with you my very first. I'm almost embarrassed to say that because I got my first snap frame in January and I brought it home and I tucked it away behind me on my shelf. But I haven't, I didn't have a really good reason for pulling it out because I was so busy doing so many other things. But so I was really glad when they assigned me to do this. Susan asked me if I had one and it was sitting on my shelf back there. And I agreed to create a snap frame and share that with everyone here today. So I want to share with you kind of what I did. It was my first time and I hadn't really watched a ton of videos that other people had done on it. I have watched videos. I saw all the people doing it at our conference in January. It just looked so fun. I took a ton of pictures of everybody doing that. Still have those pictures on my phone. I was glad when I had a real good excuse yesterday afternoon after church to sit down, pull out my snap frame kit and actually sit down and design with it. I love DIY crafts. I used to do a lot of them years ago, and then we got kind of caught up in scrapbooking more than anything else. So I haven't done as many since then. So this was really fun for me to pull out a wood craft, paper and wood. I really like working with those things. And I really had a lot of fun. So I want to show you what I did. And I also want to kind of give you some things that helped me. Maybe they'll help somebody else out there. First of all, I want to remind you what snap frames are. I'm just going to show you, it's a frame like this. Has can have a phone and it has different parts to it. So I just took the packaging off the back. We have the snap frame, and this I can see that it may come across backwards for you, but you have the basic frame, and then you have the snapback, which is, it can have different patterns and you can do different things with it. And then we have design kits. We've got the one that I got with it was this Hello design kit. I haven't used that yet. And then we also have a recent one is the fall design kit that came out. And I am going to use the wooden autumn word from this today. And I have used the templates from this in the Kiwi Club coming up that I did. So, and I know we just saw the new release with the Christmas one, which is so cute. And now I have to do another snap frame because it's so cute. I really want to get one. But, and then we have the design mat that you can use or not use. And that will kind of can pop out and give like a shadow box effect to it. and just super cute. There's so many different ways that you can do this. But I just wanted, for those who might not be familiar with our snap frames that are watching, that there are different elements that you can purchase to kind of tailor the snap frame to how you want it to be. So we'll get started. So for me, I had to first decide what paper. Just like scrapbooking, I'm like, I have these pictures, what paper do I want to use? And so I had to do that here. I wasn't designing a layout, but I was designing, and I needed to decide what paper. And just like with pictures, you sometimes want to go in and kind of see what paper goes with your pictures. I was trying to look for paper that went with my home. So I want to put this in my living room. So I was kind of looking around at the papers that I had to see what would go with my home in the fall. And I did have this Autumn Traditions, some of this paper left from, it's November, so it's last year's November kit. And I saw, it's not showing now because I used it, but I saw a piece of paper that I realized pretty much matched kind of nicely with a pillow that I have on my couch in the fall with the same kind of colors, and my pillow has those colors, and it's a big pillow, and those kind of colors and floral type patterns and leaves and such. So I decided that I would use from this Traditions kit this paper. Here's a strip I had left of it. It's really cute. I wanted something bright and again that would coordinate with the in my pillow that I was using on the couch, and my couches are brown leather, so it would really go really well together. So I needed to purchase that, and I wanted it to pop, so I decided to put this pattern on my design mat, the part that sticks out, and it ended up looking like this. And so this design mat is what will go over the design that will show in the middle. And this will pop out. Well, it has 2 or 3 ways you can do it, and I'll show you all the different ways. I'm going to pop it out so it has like a shadow box effect. And I'm going to show you how I did this. So I'm kind of tell you and show you how I did this. So I used to do a lot of these kind of wood crafts where I would adhere the paper to the wood. And I discovered way back then that for me, the simplest and least expensive way was to use Mod Podge. Mod Podge is, you can use it for so many things, just like glue, but also for so many things. And I've been using Mod Podge for this type of thing for many, many years now. So, so what I did when I wanted to use the Mod Podge, first I had to get the paper on the wood. So that started with adhering the paper. And the first thing you have to do is trace it out. So I would put this on the paper, on the 12 by 12 sheet of paper, and I traced it out both outside and inside. I just ran my pencil along and traced it. And then I needed to kind of cut that out generally, kind of roughly, because I wanted an edge left over so we can see where my finger is, maybe a 1/4 inch or so left over on the sides. I didn't want it to, I didn't cut it like this to match perfectly. I cut it with a little bit of a generous extra piece on the edge. So I did that on the outside, about a 1/4 inch all the way around. And then on the inside, I also came in, I cut out the middle. After I traced it, I cut out the middle. You can see that there was a lot left. So I popped my scissors through, and I just went kind of carefully and quickly, just cut out the middle piece so that I could get into the rest of it. And then I trimmed it off to where it still had kind of that 1/4 inch or so overlap. What I'm going to do with the overlap is on the board, and then I'm going to sand the rest of the paper off on the edge. So that's what I did. I went ahead and cut it out that rough way with a little extra, and took the middle out and again cut it down to have that little extra. And then I was ready to glue it to the board. And the board kind of looked like this before. This has a kind of a taupe paint on it, but it was just plain. And so I would take my Mod Podge and away where you're making for somebody and the paper falls off. That's not good, because I've been doing this for a long time in a lot of different projects. But I found out, I one day picked up a brush that I had been painting with. I went out, and rinsed it off and got it all cleaned off and shook it around to get the water out. And then I came back and I dipped it in the Mod Podge and started on the next project. And that brush is not what I recommend. I've never used a wet brush since, and I've never had a problem with Mod Podge since. So always use a dry brush. So then on the side, that you're putting the glue on, you just put a thin layer on it, and you want to go all the way to the edges, this edge and this edge. You want your paper to stick all the way from this edge to this edge and not be sticking up a little bit. Although if it does stick up a little, then it'll work. So you go ahead and put a thin layer of Mod Podge all over this, and then you're going to take your paper that you've cut out with the excess, and you're going to make sure you center it on here correctly. So you're going to put it on and kind of leave it loose for just a bit, flip it over and make sure that there's paper covering all the edges. You don't want, this part sticking out because you couldn't tell that it was supposed to have paper on it. So once you do that, you just go ahead and you press. I get in there and I just push and press and rub and get everything, every edge down so that there's glue under every spot, and all the air bubbles have been pressed out. So I don't want any air bubbles, and I don't want any spots where it's going to come up. So then I just press. I just sit there and press for a couple minutes and rub and press. And then once that's done, you just need to let it dry. And it doesn't take very long, but if you don't let it dry and it's kind of damp, then you're going to gum up your sandpaper or your nail file when you're trying to sand it off here. So I just walked away and did something else for a few minutes. And then I came back and I was ready to do my sanding. The thing I do before I sand is I go back, because here I'm going to have this with the kind of rough edges. And then I go back with my fingers and I just press along the edge, like bringing out the crease on the edge so that the paper's maybe even folded down a little bit, but all the edges you can easily see by eye where that edge is. I do that on the outside and on the inside so that I can kind of see where it's going to fold down as I try to sand it off. And then I've used several things. I used to have a metal file. I think it was Basic Gray. Way back, they had a little tool set, and one of them was a file. That was great. I lost that along the way, or it broke or something, so I don't have it anymore. And then I've used nail files, just the emery boards, and they actually work really great. I don't have any right now. This was from like a Christmas stocking, I think, and it's just one of these cushiony kind. So I started using that. So when you do it, you are going to hold the board, and then you're going to just see if I can show you this way. You're just going to pull down like that. You just pull down, and you do that until that paper actually peels off in a perfect line right where you creased it, because you're putting the pressure on the edge. It's gently tearing or even almost cutting that paper out, and you can do that until it's done. This one really wasn't very vigorous, so I got rid of it and got some just fine sandpaper, and I just started going through, and it went a lot faster. I also try to get the edges clean, so you see where that is still kind of brown right there, and you can just go back and forth like that. Sometimes you have a little bit of glue. You try not to have glue leaking on the edges, and then but you can sand that paper off. I love this technique. This has been useful to me for years and years, and it always looks wonderful after I've had all the edges sanded off, which is kind of a Zen thing to do, to tell you the truth. I just sat there and I put on, I think I was listening to an audio book, and I just sat there. It was the quietest, most peaceful moment that I've had all week. So I really enjoyed doing that. So I just did that, and then I went ahead and inked the middle edges, because that's the part that's going to show. I'm going to be in a frame today. And that's just the little part that's going to show, so I didn't need to ink the outside edges. So that's how I created my design mat. Again, I chose this pattern because I wanted it to pop in my room, and I wanted it to draw attention to the fact that it went really well with that pillow on my brown leather couch. Now the next thing to do is, and let's see, I'll quickly check to see if there are any questions on that real quick. And I don't see any, so hopefully I explained that really well. So the next part is the design back. And I'm not going to show you how it turned out yet, so I'm going to show you the back of the design back. And what I found out really quickly is that by using the mat, I really had to be careful about what I designed on my back, because when I first started putting things down on my back to kind of with the templates and such to design what I wanted it to look like, I would place this over it to see if it would fit in, and it didn't. It just didn't fit in. I had way too much. I just knew that I'm so visual that I needed to be able to see that as I went along. So what I ended up doing was using my templates and using some washi tape that I have sitting here, because I think it's Debbie Marcinkiewicz that says to tape her 2-page layout together on the back while she's designing, and it keeps it from coming apart and doing all sorts of things. I've watched a few of her videos, and it's a great tip. So I have this sitting with me when I do any scrapbooking now. So I grabbed this, and I grabbed the templates that I wanted to use. And what I decided to use were the tree set from the October Kiwi Club. I loved that set. I loved the trees. It was fun to design with. It gives such a really wonderful look. And so that's kind of what I chose to go with. And what I ended up doing was using, I used it on the front, but I'm showing you on the back. So this is the back. But I did this on the front so that I could decide what would fit. What I really wanted was a simple kind of design, a fall design. And I wanted it with some trees, a couple of leaves, and a saying. And from the Autumn Traditions kit, there was a card that said sweater weather. And gosh, that just rang a bell with me, because Rachel, my daughter, and I, we love fall and we love sweaters. She loves hoodies. I have tons of sweaters. And our favorite time of year is when we can cozy up, put a sweater on or a hoodie on, and something warm on our feet. So when I saw that sweater weather kind of card that was in the kit, I thought that's perfect. That's just what I want to have in my home. That's a good memory for us. So I pulled the trees from here, from the set. Here's the 3 trunks, and I pulled one of the tree part cards, the one that fit over the wording on the card that I was using that said sweater weather. And then I pulled some leaves. I think this is fern a la carte, and looks like blossom too. And I just wanted, you know, kind of those types of leaves to go in there. I also wanted it to stay simple in color and pattern for the paper that I used. Because I have a bright and kind of busy frame, I thought I better stick with more solid type colors for what's in the middle of it. And again, I had to, you can see how I had to make sure that it would stay in the frame that I was going to do it with. And it's kind of slipping now because that's washi tape. But I'm going to go ahead and pull that off. So then, hold on, let me get that off so that doesn't just keep falling off, as it will. And I'll show you the front and what I ended up doing. Okay. So I'll just show you this back. So what I ended up doing was just using the card that had sweater weather on it, was kind of that pumpkin color. And I wanted to pull in some of the browns. I have a brown couch and some of the different patterns. Can you see that? I get it close enough for you. And just some of that, you can see there's a little texture and stuff on some of this. And you'll notice that I did not paint my design back. I love the look of it, and it went well with the colors that I was wanting to use. So I didn't actually paint this. I've seen some that are painted and they look great. and I'll do that at some time. But for this particular one that I was doing, I decided to leave it all alone, just like it was. So I pulled some colors that are in, you can see that they're in this, and I just cut out, I traced, cut, inked, replaced, just all the normal things that you do. And I actually thought, well, then what do I do? Do I glue this to the back? Do I, what do I do? And I decided to just use my adhesive, my double-sided adhesive, and see if it worked, and it did. I used that on all of these, and then it doesn't fall off, it's not loose or anything. I thought, well, maybe if I decide later that I want to create a different scene and I just have the one snap back, then I can take that off and then I can put something else on without it all being glued down. I also, on the tree, popped it off with pop dots, which again are easy to remove, so that should not be a problem. And I popped some of these leaves off too, so they're away from it. You've got the sun on that side, but you can see there's some dimension going on there, which is nice. And this one is kind of sticking up a bit here. And then I also used the autumn wood word from the kit, from the fall design kit. And I didn't paint that either. Maybe I'm just simple, I don't know. But the color that it went really well with the fall colors that I was working with. And so that's what I decided to do, is just leave it just like it was. So I didn't paint this and I didn't paint this. Now let me show you what it looks like all together. So the frame, oh, another thing I didn't paint. Not yet anyway. So on the frame, I actually went to Hobby Lobby and I picked up 3 different colors, kind of a taupe, they call it twill, and then a gray, and then a white. And I actually hadn't picked my paper yet. Yeah, I was just there and I knew I had this coming up. So I picked some neutral colors. And when I went to think that maybe I would paint the frame that color, I actually tested it in here, if you can see right there. I thought, no, that's not the right color for what I'm trying to do. And I didn't have time from yesterday to go get another paint color or stain. So I'm going to put this together and show you. Right now, it's just the way you get it. I actually don't mind the way it looks put together with this. But in the comments, I also would really love to see you share with me what you think I should do. So should I stain it, which I could do, I just have to go get some, or paint it another color, maybe a color that's in here, maybe a pumpkin or something. What do you think I should do? Let me put it together so you can see. So the first thing that goes in, for those who haven't done it, is the mat. So I put it in like that. And then because I want it, you can actually do it a couple of different ways. You can do the mat and then put the snap back in. And then you can have it look like that. And there's not a lot of dimension there because it's just flat. So it's really just like a mat on a picture, or a picture that you hang on the wall. But it is cute. I don't mind this look at all with it. So it's sunk back more in this way, and it will stand up that way if you stand it. So then the other thing you can do is use this foam insert to create that shadow box effect, which is what I'm going to do now. Oh, wait, I'm going to show you one thing before that, is that you don't actually have to use the mat if you don't want to. You can just put the snap frame in with the actual frame, and you have this look. And this is cute too. I may switch it out. I may do it this way, and maybe a week later I'll take the mat out or put the mat in and just take turns doing it the different ways. So we'll have to see. But when I saw this, I thought, okay, that's cute. I like that. But the way I designed it, and I really do like it, is by putting in the foam insert and pop that in there, and then mat first, foam second, and then back third. And then it looks like this. And you can see the shadow box effect of it with the texture. I added some twine on the tree, and I realized when I got this next to this that I didn't have any blue here. So I pulled some. Always have these types of things. I have a lot of them, a lot of different colors. They're so easy. They're just little epoxy dots, and this one had some of this blue that went well with the blue that's in the pattern. So I added some blue here and pulled this yellow color up here with the dots and put it on the tree. And so now all it's missing is, it doesn't look bad like this with the frame being this blonde color, but I think it would also look good with some stain, and then everything would pop out of that, or some paint. I just don't know what color to use. So if you want to pop on there and give me some suggestions, that would be really great. I wouldn't mind that at all. So I showed you the frames, the different parts of what you can do, and that you can, you know, use it this way, or this pushed back further, or just this itself without the mat on top. And it's just so cute. This was just fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to doing some other DIY crafts. And now that I've seen the Christmas one, I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get one of those. Okay, so I'm looking at your comments. So if you have any comments or suggestions, give them to me now, because we're just about done. Oh, good, June. Now I want a snap frame. I would highly encourage you to get one. It's just fun. I had a lot of fun doing it. It was relaxing. I like the natural look to the frame. It goes with the autumn, and that's kind of why I kept the autumn that color, because it went so well with the frame. So I just may leave it alone. We'll see. Just checking any more comments. I'm so glad you all came in and started watching with me. I was kind of embarrassed to do one because I hadn't done one in so long, but gosh, I just had fun. So I want to thank everyone for joining me today and helping me out with any comments and suggestions. If you post any others, or you're watching this later on and you post comments, I'll try to hop in there and answer them. I'll also be taking pictures of this one so that it can be posted on the blog. And I can't wait to see it sitting next to my autumn pillow. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a lovely day, and really I encourage you, if you haven't done it, to go get a snap frame. And if it's sitting on your closet shelf, I would highly encourage you to take it out and play with it. So thanks so much, everybody, and have a good day.